I'm a hospice volunteer at Mercy South Hospital. It's off Tesson Ferry Road. And I go there about once a week, and I talk to people. I talk to the patients, and volunteers do different things. Some volunteers work the door. They invite the friends and family in. Some volunteers make cookies for the patients. Some bring in a pet dog for therapy. I met somebody that sings. She has an instrument and she goes around the rooms. And I've met somebody once that did reflexology. So people do all kinds of things. But what I really wanted to do, and I got my way, is I just want to talk to people. I want to talk to people. So I just go around the room. It's like a 15-bed facility. It's independent from the hospital. And I go around and I talk to people that are awake. A lot of people are not awake, they're sleeping. But there's one particular woman, her name is Teresa, and this is who I want to talk to you about. I really enjoyed being with her over the course of 4 months. I went every Thursday morning and I talked with her for 1 hour. And she always greeted me with a smile. Actually, she had many friends, and she called them, we're the 7 Wonders. And her friends, she came in around Valentine's Day, so her friends decorated the whole room with hearts and all red and everything for Valentine's Day. And then the next holiday was St. Patrick's Day. So the friends they dressed up with a green hat and the beads, everything for St. Patrick's Day. And one of them had a big thing of Reuben sandwiches that she made. And she couldn't get out of bed, so they wheeled her bed into like a party room. And they had a party for like several hours. And that was a wonderful thing. And then there was Easter. And then she had bunnies everywhere, some decorations for Easter. And then there was Memorial Day. And everything was the American flag. And I really appreciated her friends caring about her so much. So I'd often say, okay, Teresa, when are your friends coming? Because I would stagger my visits. I wouldn't want to come when they're coming, because she was occupied. So then finally, it was in June, and I was going away to Colorado for a week. So I visited her on Wednesday, and I said, what do you want me to bring to you from Colorado? She said, oh, nothing. And I said, okay, I'll take some pictures of the mountains. So I took pictures of the mountains, and I went in there, and she was sleeping. It was 9:30. And I said to the nurse, or the nurse's aide in the hall, I said, why is Teresa sleeping? She said, oh, she's not doing so well. Actually, her skin looked kind of translucent, really. And I said, but she was fine. She was fine. Like 6 days ago, she was happy and fine. She said, well, she stopped eating and drinking. So I went in there, and I just sat there, waited 10 minutes. She didn't wake up, so I left the room. Then I went the next day. So I went 3 days in a row, which usually I don't do that. And so the next day I went, and fortunately her relative was there. I think it was her brother and her brother's wife. And they were trying to give her a little cube of ice. Just a little, not a big one, just a little tiny. And she opened her mouth a little, and then she saw me, and she smiled, and she put out her hand like this, like a small wave, and that was the last interaction that I had with her. And then the next day, I went again. She was sleeping. So, I went home. And then, normally I walk for 1 hour every day. So I was walking on a Sunday morning, And then all at once at 7, like at 7 o'clock, I felt her really strong. I felt, oh, wow, I feel her presence, right? So then Monday morning, I called the hospice, and I said, you have to, you have to speak in a certain language. I said, is so-and-so, Teresa so-and-so, still on the roster? They said, no, she's not on the roster. So then it took me a while to recover, 4 days, and then I went back and I saw that same nurse's aide, and I said, what time did she pass? She said Sunday at 6:18. I don't know how she knew exactly, because she wasn't even working the weekend, but she said 6:18. And it was something because her last name is the model of a certain car, which I never knew existed, that model. But the next day, or like a couple weeks after, I kept seeing that car everywhere. Everywhere I saw that car. And actually, it only lasted like 2 weeks, and I haven't seen it since. But anyway, the volunteer who worked the door said to me, I told him I was a little difficult, my experience, since, getting over not seeing her. And he said, oh, you can't get involved. He said too much, and he said some experience that he had. And I disagree. I disagree. Because that was wonderful experience. That was a wonderful experience that I had with her, even through her friendships. I was so grateful that she had these. She was divorced, so she didn't have a relative, she didn't have a spouse or children coming in, but she had these friendships, and I was so moved by her friends and all the decorations that they brought in. And that relationship is carried on. That was like 2 months ago or 6 weeks ago, but that relationship has carried on with me. And it might still carry on for a long time. And I really appreciate that experience. So this is my inspiration.